Hey everyone, Rick here, and folks, welcome back to another Battlefields of Mana unit review. This time we're looking at our first, assuming you're watching them in this order, mounted ranged unit. Ranged mounted unit. This is a unit of mounted archers. Now, number one, it's also one of my favorite just looking units, one of the best, most handsome units. But I have to say, it's hard for me to choose between the Regal Guard unit you're looking at now and the Lunar Knight unit I'll show you in just a second, because they're very similarly posed. It just kind of comes down to the paint scheme. And again, with the Regal Guard, you have this more colorful Renaissance kind of scheme. It's a really nicely done red and yellow stripes on them with, the metal chainmail and holding their bow. And again, on the flag, a very nicely detailed bow and arrow to denote what the unit type is. And let's take a peek at the Lunar Knight mounted archers. So here's mounted archers for the Lunar Knights. Still love them as well. Very, very cool. All right, so, and let me also tell you, these are not only some of the best looking units, they are the most effective on the battlefield. And they are so cost effective. I can't even believe it. And let me tell you why. Why they're such a bang for your point buck. Attack dice. Only a single die. So again, with range, you do get both front and rear rank attacks. So that kind of compensates. Normally in a close combat attack, typically figures have a 2 attack die rating. So each figure in the front rank gets 2 attack dice. That's 6 dice. Same thing with range. They will end up with 6 dice, but it's because each figure in the front and rear rank each contribute an attack die. Of course, that does mean in close combat, though, they only contribute a single die, so that front rank is only going to be doing 3 total attack dice, which makes sense because you really don't want your archer. We talked about this when we talked about foot ranged units like archers and crossbowmen. You really don't want them in close combat. Also, not only because they don't roll as many dice, but also look at the combat strength. -1 to all of their attack dice in melee. Armor value. Again, this is not that good. It's only a 1, so it only takes 2s or better for opponents to hit them. And defense, they roll their defense dice at a -1 in melee. Folks, don't get your archers foot or mounted in close combat situations. But why is it going to be so easy to avoid that with these mounted archers? Because number one, they have a range of 12, but they also have a movement of 6. We're going to get into, these guys are so cool. Initiative of +2. Now, that may surprise you because the foot archers were only initiative bonus of +1. So mounted archers are a +2 because they are quicker. They're on their horses. They maybe have a little better training, being able to whip, swap weapons. They are initiative of +2. They are a health of 2 as well, as most units are. So 2 HP per figure means every 2 wounds the unit takes, a casualty is removed. Let's back up for a second. So movement of 6 means they can move 6 inches. If you use both your movement actions, that means they can move 12 inches. But folks, they have that ability called Nimble. We've seen it before. We've seen Nimble with Light Cav. We've seen Nimble with Widowers. Nimble gives them 1 free movement action. So that means normally you can do 2 things on your turn. You can either move and then attack, or move twice. You can't attack twice, but you can move in the movement phase either once or twice and forego your attack later in the turn. But with Nimble, you get a 3rd movement action. Or I guess I should say 1 free movement action. So that means you can move twice and then still attack. In the range, and I think I said close combat phase, these guys have a ranged attack. They can attack in the ranged attack phase or close combat attack phase. Of course, you don't really want to do that in close combat, but in range. Let's break it down. This is the furthest ranged unit, I believe, in the game. Yeah, because, I mean, a siege engine catapult has a range of 18 inches, but it can't move and fire, so 18 inches is where it ends. These guys have a range of 12, but they can move up to 12 and still fire 12. What does that mean? Do the math. We've said it before, a typical battlefield is only 2 feet by 2 feet. That's 2 feet right there. Move 6, move another 6, and shoot 12. This unit can shoot essentially anything on the board. That is insane. Or you can move 18 inches and forego your shots. Or move 12 up to 12 inches and still shoot 12 inches. That's insane. There is a downside. They are moved to fire, which means if they literally, as it says, move to fire, if they move in the same turn that they then shoot, their shots are all -1. So there is that penalty. They're on the run, they're moving and shooting, their accuracy is lowered. But still, you move 12 inches and then shoot another 12 inches. I mean, my God, you're rolling 6 dice, assuming you don't have any casualties. Come on, that's absolutely insane. So how much does all this cost? Probably 4 or 5 points. 3 points is all it costs to add a unit of mounted archers to your arm. Imagine adding a couple, one on each flank. And they basically, the whole battlefield is in their crosshairs. I mean, come on. You can run them up to where you want them to sit, and then they can shoot without that firing penalty the rest of the turns. They still have that 12-inch range. Absolutely fantastic. Additionally, we haven't talked about this on any other ranged unit review. If you fire into an opposing unit's flank or rear, your attack dice are +1. So just imagine that. These guys are so fast, they can shoot up to, I say shoot and I meant like run. They can charge up to 12 inches down the battlefield, and assuming wherever they end up is pointed at an opponent's flank, that +1 for the flank shot negates the -1 for moving and shooting. So these guys are so fast, they can get into position, take their shots, and I mean, it's 3 points. That's absolutely insane. A versatile, nimble unit. I love their effectiveness. I love their cost effectiveness. It's just don't just keep them out of close combat, whatever you do. All right, folks, that's going to do it for Mounted Archers. Thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. And until next time.